Professional money managers in charge of large endowments and pensions have long known the importance of finding ways to thoughtfully diversify beyond just stocks and bonds. For example, if you had invested $1 million in a 60-40 stock bond portfolio at the beginning of 1997, it would have been worth $3,756,000 at the end of 2016. If you had been able to invest that money in Princeton's endowment, it would have been worth more than $10 million. That's 168% more. Let's dive in, figure out how they've been able to do this, and discover what you can do about it. Welcome back. I so appreciate those of you showing up every time through thick and thin. It means the world when I see familiar faces in the comments. But we're going to make it worth your while. We have a lot planned for you here as we continue to explore research-backed and data-driven ways for you to better overcome the risks to which mainstream financial planning leaves you exposed. In this case, let's explore what Princeton and others have increasingly begun to incorporate in their overarching investment philosophies that has facilitated this 168% greater return over that traditional stock and bond only portfolio. The biggest difference in their portfolio allocation is that Princeton has over 70% of their portfolio allocated to alternative investments. Now, the term alternative investments, or just alts, is generally used to refer to any asset that is not one of those conventional investment types, such as stocks, bonds, or cash. That could be real estate, private equity, hedge funds, commodities. The list goes on, and we'll explore many, hopefully all of them in coming videos. University endowments make up some of the largest pools of invested assets. And since they have to publicly disclose their returns and allocations, they provide us with some amazing insights. 4 of the 5 largest endowment funds have embraced an alternative investment strategy. Over the past couple of decades, each shifted their portfolio from an allocation very close to the traditional 60-40 paradigm to an alternative focus. As a side note, a really important side note, real quick, that stock bond portfolio actually makes more sense for institutions like these than it does for individuals, for you. That is, after all, who Harry Markowitz, the founder of modern portfolio theory, that stock and bond portfolio, that's what he concluded from his research, that an institutional portfolio would benefit from such an allocation, not individuals. I suspect he probably recognized some of the obvious risks to which that sort of strategy would leave a couple just trying to plan for retirement, for example, exposed. I break that all down in myth 9 of stop investing like they tell you, so we don't have to rehash that all here. But I thought it interesting to point out that even they, for whom the stock and bond strategy was originally designed, have shifted away from that simplistic and rather risky approach. They've continued to search for a better way and have, over the last 3 decades, in this particular instance at least, adapted and improved. All the while, that simplistic, easy for an advisor to implement stock and bond only recommendation for you has stayed the exact same because it has worked for most up until now. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, even if you can see several blatant logical fallacies. Anyway, I digress, as usual. So back to those alternative-seeking universities. Those 4 university endowments I referenced are Harvard, with its $32.7 billion, Yale, with its $23.9 billion, Stanford, with its $21.4 billion, and Princeton, with its $20.7 billion. The performance of these portfolios over the long run has been nothing less than impressive. Over the last 20 years, Harvard averaged a 10.4% return, Yale 12.6%, Stanford 10.7%, and Princeton 12.3%. It's worth noting that these endowment returns are after accounting for the endowment manager's hefty fees. Over that same period, the S&P 500 index averaged 7.7% per annum, while the Barclays Bond Index averaged 5.3%. These are the indices most often used to benchmark that traditional stock and bond portfolio recommended to the retail investor. Thus, the traditional 60-40 portfolio had an annualized 6.8% return over this same 20-year period. And that's without accounting for any fees. It's not coincidence that each of the endowments embracing alternative investments substantially outperformed the traditional portfolio benchmark. Consider their asset allocation and how it differs from the traditional stock-bond split mainstream advisors recommend. These endowments' outsized allocations to alternative investments have clearly contributed to their long-term outperformance. These 4 universities are not alone. The average pension fund invests 27% of its portfolio into alternatives. The average endowment invests 29% of its portfolio into alternatives, whereas the average individual invests only 5% of her portfolio into alternative investments. Alternatives as an investment category are often thought of as only being accessible to high net worth individuals. There absolutely are many really, that are exclusively available to those who can claim the so-called accredited investor status. But the concepts completed by these successful endowments do not have to be exclusive to the ultra-wealthy. The main idea behind alternatives is finding good investments that are uncorrelated with stocks and bonds. That's what these endowments have been doing. They've been pulling their focus away from just straight up stock and bond exposure. And I believe you should too. I think I outlined it pretty clearly in my book, the risks to which you're exposed if that's your allocation. That's part of what this channel is about. We have and will continue to explore several investment options that accomplish this objective. We have a lot of content planned in this vein, so if this applies to you and your unique financial situation, we hope you'll subscribe, take some notes, and join us for the ride. We're glad you're here. In a video we're preparing for the near future, we'll dive into some of the best ways for you to gain various types of alternative exposure, whether you're an accredited investor or not. There are increasingly more avenues available to the everyday saver just trying to find the best ways to protect and grow their hard-earned assets. And over time, we're going to be reviewing them all. I'll see you there. Take care.